Hey everyone, welcome back to GL Spinners. Today I've got another new Spinner Day video for you. We are taking a look at the Origin Spinner from Legacy. So I recently picked this one up from Spinetic Spinners, and as always, it came in a nice tin. I know that's not really a big deal, but again, I'm always glad to see this. It's so much better than just getting it in a plastic baggie in a padded envelope. So you can see this one does have their logo, their name. It's also got a sticker to signify which version you purchased. I picked up the standard stainless steel, and it's got nice foam inside to keep it safe during shipping. So pretty nice. Another bonus that Legacy actually includes is they ship an extra bearing with their spinner. This is not a huge expense to them, but it's great for you because we know how fragile these bearings are, and if you drop your spinner, you can easily damage it. Having the extra bearing makes for an easy swap out if something does happen. But let's take a look at the spinner itself. So where the Origin really stands out is in its design. My best term for this is that this is a chunky spinner. You can see these arms are extremely thick. They measure in at just under a ½ inch in width, and that's going to make this the second thickest spinner that I own. And I mean, also at first glance, it's the shape of a standard bow tie bar spinner. But as you can see, my fingers on the other side here show that this has 4 defined arms. So technically it is a quad spinner. They're just not spaced out evenly like we're used to seeing. So the weight on this spinner, it comes in at 85 grams, which converts to about 3 ounces. And from end to end, it's gonna measure in at just barely under 2 inches. So pretty standard size. But let's talk about the spin. It's smooth and well balanced, and it does have that bar spinner wobble. Not as much as you might get on a longer true bar spinner, but it is there. Don't expect to get that gyroscopic feel from most multi-arm spinners. And to be honest, if you're not a fan of bar spinners, this might not be the best choice for you. Let's talk about the feel in hand. It feels nice, but not great. The edges aren't rough, they're just not as rounded as we're becoming used to on other spinners. So what I mean by that is you do feel them a little bit more when you're fidgeting with it. And this is mostly showing up on these surface edges here. Not as much on these corners as they're rounded off very nicely, but the bad part is on those surface areas is where your fingers are gonna hit when you spin it. So that is a little bit of a downside. Another point on this one is you can see they've stamped their logo on the inside of one of the arms. To be honest, I'm not a fan of this. I really prefer that makers put their stamps on the buttons, and these buttons are completely blank, so it's a perfect spot for that. Moving on to the buttons though, they are massive. You can see my entire thumb fits on it. They are technically recessed, but just barely. There's a slight raised edge, but it's not anything, you know, special like we've seen on some other nice recessed buttons. And there's no texture on it, so the whole button's kind of slick. You can see they do have a cog design on the outside ring, which does make for a different effect when spinning. But overall, the buttons are just so-so. You're not gonna drop it because of them, but they're not as nice as we've seen on some other spinners. The buttons are threaded, and underneath you can see my favorite bearing system, the nice R188 with a threaded bearing lock. Again, they included an extra bearing, so if you have any trouble with this one, you can easily swap it out with this system. So, perfect, I love it. You don't have to ship it off if you got a problem. So, going back to the spin, as always, took it out of the box before the video, and I got table spins of about 4 minutes and above, which for this size spinner is not a bad time. Really though, on this spinner though, the selling point is the design. If you like the look of it and want a different, you know, sort of spinner, it's a pretty good value. I picked up the stainless steel version, but they also sell it in brass and in a brass coated in black. The price is going to range between $35 and $40 depending on the version that you choose, and I'll put the link down to Spinetic's website in the description if you'd like to purchase one. But one of the things I like to do is always compare it to other spinners to kind of give you an idea. So looking at it, like I said, this one kind of falls in another category, but it's very similar to, like, let's say a Mini Falcon. A Mini Falcon is a true bar spinner, but you can see they're pretty similar in shape and size. The Mini Falcon's got just the 2 arms, while our Legacy Origin does have the 4, but pretty close. Another one that's a completely different shape is going to be the Steampunk Spinners Fat Boy, but the reason I'm showing it to you compared to this one, even though it is a completely different shape, is that thickness. So, like I said, this Origin is just slightly thinner than the Steampunk Spinner, but the thing about it is you're going to get the same feel. You can see those arms are almost identical. And what I mean by the feel of it is where you actually place your finger to spin it. If you like the feeling of that thick arm, it's very similar on this Origin. So I think that people that enjoy the spin on the Steampunk Spinners Fat Boy, it's going to be very similar on this Origin spinner. So let me know what you think about it. Do you already have one? Do you enjoy it? If you've got any questions, always put them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you like the video, be sure and give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more spinner content and reviews, always be sure and subscribe. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.